Hey everyone, welcome to our ChuggieBets podcast. I'm Andy. I'm joined today by Al, Matt, and Danny. Before anything becomes official, we've got to kick it off with a chug. So cheers, boys.
Gentlemen. I love
All
that.
right.
Good
Delicious.
radio.
All right, so let's start it off with a little recap of last week. Danny, a perfect 2-0, which earns him a chug, which he can hand out at any point during this episode. He just needs to call out who he wants to chug a beer, and we'll do it because he has a perfect 2-0. Al and I both broke even. Matt was our official loser of the week. Sorry, bud. Chug a beer while we all make fun of you. UNC minus 34.5. Are you kidding me?
That was
What a
terrible.
joke.
Come on. Why are you
Charlotte,
betting on UNC?
Charlotte? Come
what kind
on.
of
Matt, you
idiot
took
would bet
Charlotte.
on Charlotte?
Dude,
We all took Charlotte. Danny didn't.
Th-
Danny should get bonus points for not taking Charlotte.
I can't believe you guys were going against Nkosi Perry. The clap, man. I was trying to tell you guys from my terrible connection. Nkosi Perry, the clap.
Well, now we know
in.
better. So. All right, we got a ton of games this week, so let's go ahead and jump right into it, guys. The first game of the week, we have an argument between Matt and Danny. Let's let Danny take this one first since he did win the week. But West Virginia at Pitt. Danny, what do you got on that one?
So, West Virginia and Pitt, it's kind of a tough pick here because Pitt is returning most of their offensive line and all their running backs. West Virginia is not really returning very many players, but this really all comes down to Pitt lost the quarterback, and I just think they're going to be terrible without him. So West Virginia, I think, is going to surprise some people. So that's it. I think people are going to bet on Pitt. I think the line is going to be basically the line's moving in Pitt's direction. I think we're going to be able to get 8.5 at closing. So I'm going to wait, and I'm going to take it at 8. But I like it at 7.5. But I'm still waiting because I think I get more value later in the week.
Yeah, no, I understand everything you're saying there. And the quarterback disappearing from Pitt is a big deal. It's going to be a matchup between two new quarterbacks that have a ton of experience in JT Daniels, who has been from USC to Georgia to West Virginia, and Caden Slovis, who went from USC to Pitt. So it's a battle of two old USC quarterbacks. Let's see what's going to happen with that. I think West Virginia's gotten weaker. Their two best offensive weapons have disappeared. Winston Wright went to Florida State, and Levy went to the draft. So losing that offensive talent is a big difference. Look, Pittsburgh also lost Jordan Addison, and I think you heard me last week just praise Jordan Addison going to USC. But I think Pittsburgh has far more talent in general. I don't think this game will be that close. I think I would take it at 9 or 9.5 and still feel confident in it. So I'm taking Pitt minus 7.5 at Heinz or whatever it's called now.
I just think they're going to. I think West Virginia is going to. Sorry.
I was going to say, it feels to me like taking a Georgia reject at quarterback is not a good bet. Not a bet I want to make. So I would be on Pitt if it were up to me, but
on the reject scale,
it's easy to way off, right?
Georgia QB rejects. You don't want to take those. No. Yeah, I think that Pitt's going to come out and they're gonna just try and run the ball. Their offensive coordinator, that's sort of his MO. I think it's going to be a game that's going to stay real close. So I think that getting more than a touchdown is going to be enough to cover. So
no, you're right. Narduzzi loves to make games really damn boring. So, but I just think I think even with that being the case, I think they're far more talented to have Pitt.
I mean, their best receiver is their tight end, right? So I mean, they got the transfer. Pitt got the transfer in. Really, I'm betting against Pitt more than I'm betting on West Virginia here.
Yeah.
So, it's
that's the thing. That's the other side of the coin, right? Is do you really want to back Pitt by more than a touchdown? Neither side sounds good, right?
All right, I'm not officially taking it, but I lean to back Danny with West Virginia. So we have a little 2-on-2 action here to start us off on Thursday. Let's go ahead and move on to later in the evening on Thursday. Al, I believe you have a play on the total in New Mexico State, Minnesota.
Yeah, so this is something I'm going to be keeping an eye on this season. Taking the over instead of a spread on big spread. So Minnesota's favored by 36.5, I saw. maybe they cover, maybe they don't. I actually kind of like New Mexico State to cover. But the safer play for me is just going with the over. Because if New Mexico State's making it the ball game, we're hitting 54 points. So over 53.5, that seems like a safer play. So that's what I'm doing.
I'm not playing this one, but New Mexico State's not making that a ball game.
No.
If that's a ball game, it's because Minnesota made it a ball game, not because New Mexico State made it a ball game. Because New Mexico State's terrible, and Minnesota might not score a bunch.
So you don't see New Mexico starting 2-0 against the spread?
No.
Does anybody else feel like Minnesota's coach looks like Rob Corddry?
He does. He does.
He seems to grow out his
He
bang.
is.
And
I like
His
singular bang.
Singular bang.
I'd run through a brick wall for Rob Corddry.
all right, awesome. Thanks for that over, Al. On Friday night, I think we got a couple of plays. Let's start with Matt in Virginia Tech at Old Dominion. What do you got for us on that one, Matt?
It's an amazing world where Virginia Tech, A, has to go on the road to Old Dominion, and B, they're only an 8.5-point favorite on the road at Old Dominion. Last year, everyone was betting against Old Dominion.
It's down to 7.5.
Oh, 7.5 at Old Dominion.
Danny, what book are you using? You're getting good numbers.
Bovada right now. I'm looking at it right now.
Damn.
Well,
that's not
it's just crazy to me. I know they're probably trying to win the Tidewater area, where Old Dominion, and it's like an in-state battle. And look, the crowd is going to be heavily Virginia Tech. I know Pry came in from Penn State, the defensive coordinator, now the head coach at Virginia Tech. I don't think that team's very good, and I think Old Dominion's pretty good. I don't necessarily have the strongest feeling about it, but I'd probably take the 8.5 with Old Dominion and go against Virginia Tech here. I don't think Burmeister is very good at all. I think that they've been penalized by being Justin Fuente's team for a long time, and it may take a year to get the stink off of the Fuente stink off Virginia Tech.
I think that is the early leading candidate for most degenerate pick of the week.
Yeah, it's a good one.
That's a game nobody wants to watch.
Oh, God, I don't want to watch it all.
No, the Friday night game I want to watch is the Michigan State's going to score some points on Western Michigan, I think. So
you could watch Temple Duke that night. Oh, there's not enough money in the world to make you watch that crap. That is awful.
But we know what Andy's going to be watching Friday night.
That's where I was going to take us next, Danny. Thank you. You know I will be watching Illinois at Indiana, and Al's actually got a pick for us on that one. Which I love.
Of course I'm taking Illinois plus the points. Are you kidding me? You're giving me a field goal against Indiana? Who is scared of Indiana? Nobody. Here's another thing that I'm keeping an eye on this week. Teams that have played a game already against teams that are opening up this season, right? So Illinois got their knocked the rust off last week. They're gonna win. So, I mean, take a money line, take them +3, whichever you feel like making money off of. I'm doing both, but +3 is the official pick.
Andy, I know you've been monitoring the movement. How has this line moved after the Wyoming result?
That's a good question. I actually don't know what it was before that. I wasn't paying attention. I know normally I would, but I just didn't look, so I couldn't tell you.
They're saying this is a pick'em, but it's in Indiana. Indiana was like 1-9 last year in conference, right? Or 1-8 in conference. They were not very good. Right?
I don't think they won a Big Ten game last year.
Yeah, they were really bad. The line is confusing. I wonder if someone knows something else, because I agree with Al 100%. Is Penix playing? I don't even know. I think
Penix transferred.
Yeah. What the hell do they have? What? Yeah, that line stinks.
Yeah. Nobody even likes acapella anyway.
So moved in their favor a little.
This guy.
Well, I love it. I hope you're right. I was looking at the same thing, maybe a little money line action there as well. So from your lips to God's ears. And from there, let's go ahead and move on to Saturday.
I'm a big Illini fan now.
Hell yeah.
I'll send you some gear. All right. Saturday at noon, North Carolina and App State. Matt, I think you got to play on that one.
I'm so excited for both games that are happening in the state of North Carolina that do not involve Duke. I'm not looking forward to that game, but both games that are happening. Look, man, we're in a real situation where North Carolina is going on the road to App State. I don't know if anyone here watched the North Carolina game as much as I watched it, hoping that they would stop anybody last week. And they didn't. Boy, they didn't. And but like I said, we mentioned this last week. Bill Longo's team score points. North Carolina is going to score points. Are they going to stop anyone at all? I don't know. And they're playing against a great App State team. So I think App State's a 1-point favorite, which is an amazing, what a time to be alive. But my play here would be over 56. I think that game will get over 56 relatively easy. I think App State is going to score. I think North Carolina is going to score. It's going to be a really fun game to watch.
Does App State still have the two-headed monster at running back? They had two dudes last year that were both really great.
Yeah, they're playing the game in Boone. I think it's going to be a fun atmosphere. That noon Saturday crowd and kind of a really hungry atmosphere in the mountains of North Carolina. I can't wait to watch. Do we have a play on the East Carolina NC State game, Andy? Or can I run through that really quick?
Yeah, go for it.
I was this close to considering Eastern Carolina money line, but also this close to taking them plus 11 or whatever it is. But that's not better of it. That's a heart pick, not a head pick.
Yeah, NC State's going on the road to East Carolina. So one's going to the mountains, the other one's going to the beach. Like I said, it's amazing that these teams are going to play these rivalry games and not having them at their home stadium. That game is going to be really interesting. I think last week I talked about how much I love NC State. I think they are one of the best teams in the conference. I think they can give Clemson some trouble. I don't think this game will be particularly close at the end, but I think the first half will stay close. I haven't seen a first half line. I've been looking all day. I've assumed it was going to be I was hoping it was going to be under 7, and I would say it would probably be close, but NC State is so much deeper. I think they're going to run away with the 11.5. I think it'll end up being a pretty big margin by the end of the game. I'd say probably 14 points by game's end. I think NC State wins.
I'm excited to see how NC State shakes out this year, Matt, because I'm all about them being fraudulent, and you got high expectations, so we'll see.
I'm putting a lot of faith in that wagon, and I don't like NC State, but personally, as a fan,
they're good,
but they're really good.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I don't like them is because they're a team that can get upset by East Carolina while also beating Clemson. It's okay, I don't know what to make of that.
I don't like them because they beat Miami all the time. It seems like but they're always beating us.
They're really damn good.
Everyone in the ACC is always beating Miami.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Everybody's always
lose to either Virginia or Georgia Tech or NC State or UNC or Virginia Tech. It's all the ACC.
We're Duke.
Yeah, Duke. Oh.
That stupid field goal when we were in college. Oh God,
kick six was so good though. Or the punt return.
Yeah.
Lateral punt return. Yeah. Cornelder.
I'm excited for the games in the Carolinas this weekend. I think it's really interesting to have high-value ACC teams going on the road to in-state rivals. I'm very intrigued to watch the games that play out there.
Because Carolina college football is like chef's kiss college atmosphere.
Oh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be really, really fun.
I didn't see a line for Coastal.
That's South Carolina. Different Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the bad Carolina.
Oh, the bad one. The one where Clemson sits.
The line for Coastal is Coastal minus 2.5.
I'm going to take that too.
They're at home.
Army.
Playing Army.
Army's not bad this year.
Do they still have the quarterback that's super fast?
They always have the quarterback that's super
fast. But the guy last year was like a real athlete.
I don't remember.
I forget his name, but he was really good.
He's the one with the mullet, right?
Yeah. He was really good.
Then I got to root for my boy.
Yeah, we got to keep tabs on mullets, okay? If there's a mullet, I gotta know about it.
All right, moving along. Saturday afternoon, Arizona at San Diego State. Matt, what do you got for us on that one?
So I'm a little nervous about this bet. I'm going to put it on the front end, right? San Diego State's opening a brand new stadium, the Snapdragon Center. I don't know what the hell a Snapdragon is, but it's some shit. I have no idea. Probably like a credit card or like a payday loan company. But
Yeah.
they're San Diego State's a lot better than Arizona, right? A lot better. Arizona is a 1-win team from last year, and I don't expect them to be much better than a 1-win team. They may have a couple more wins. This game should be an easy win for San Diego State. The problem is San Diego State plays slow as hell. They like to run the ball and play defense. So the game could stay really close. The number's at 48, and I'm a little nervous, but then I feel comforted by the idea of Arizona's head coach sucks, and I'm going to take San Diego State minus 6.5 there. I think that's probably the play opening the new stadium in San Diego.
Can San Diego State's punter kick it 80 yards?
I don't want to talk about that guy. I don't think you're allowed to talk about him.
Yeah,
right
we're not.
now.
We're not talking about that guy. We're talking about who they currently have. Yeah.
No, I don't think they've replaced. Hopefully, they've never replaced that guy. Doesn't seem like the best character.
Hopefully, they punt him.
Yeah.
All right.
Andy, do you have a thought on that game at all?
No, only that I think Arizona was better than their record last year. I know they only won one game. I don't think they were actually that bad. I think they deserve to win a couple. That said, I don't think they're good. So, yeah, laying less than a touchdown. San Diego State at home. They'll be hyped for the new stadium. I like the play. I'm not on it, but yeah, I like it.
I'm a little nervous because I know everyone loves Arizona right now. Everyone's like they're getting a lot better, and that may be true. But 3 wins is a lot better than 1. This seems like a game where I'm gonna. It stinks, but I'm taking it. I'm going minus 6.5.
Yeah.
They could triple their wins from last year.
You started out with you were nervous about this pick, and they're playing Arizona, and I was like, oh god.
I know. I feel like I'm an idiot. Like everyone in the know knows more than me, but it just seems like such a logical pick with everything going on.
All right, for this next one, Al and Danny are both against me. So I'll go ahead and say it, and then you guys can tell me why I'm an idiot.
Tell me on this pick of yours.
So Houston at UTSA. I'm taking UTSA. I'm taking the points. They're at home, first of all, and then I like taking points. That's about it.
Texas isn't that big. How far could Houston and San Antonio be from each other?
It's a couple hours.
They're pretty damn far, I think.
It's a couple hours. Texas is really big. I don't know if you're aware of this, but it's rather large. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much else to say. I'm sure that you guys are about to convince me that I'm an idiot, and then I'll take it off. But Alan, Danny, tell me why I'm wrong.
It's probably smart to just make it a short and sweet. Just take the home dog move like you did, because I love Houston's offense. They got their quarterback's back, Clayton Tune. He's good, fun to watch. UTSA, they were good last year, but that's
12 wins. 12 wins.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I like UTSA. I also like Houston. I honestly just I wanted to pick a side in the game because I want to watch it. And
quarterback.
And I like Houston. Got family in Houston. It really was just like I like Houston. I like their quarterback. I like rooting against UCF when they play UCF. I like rooting for Houston against UCF. So.
All right, you guys did make me feel like an idiot. So
it really wasn't a real logical bet. It really wasn't a real logical pick. It was like Houston a lot of times has really good players. I know who their quarterback is, and I want to watch the game. It really wasn't. It wasn't deeper than that this time.
I don't have a pick in the game, but I think it's going to be an awesome game. It's one of those under the radar that no one's talking about, and both teams are really friggin' good. And I'd probably lean Andy's way. I don't think anyone cares about UTSA, and they're undervaluing them like they did all of last year when they went 12-2 or 12-1, whatever they did. But I'm in to watch it. I don't feel confident enough to bet it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Matt, I think you've got to play on Oregon, Georgia.
Yeah, look, man, this is an exciting game. This is one of the premier games of the weekend. Dan Lanning went from Georgia last year, defensive coordinator, won a ring. head coach at Oregon, right? So it'll be an interesting game from that perspective. There'll be storylines abundant. Georgia lost 15 players to the draft, which is egregious about how many players play on the field at one time, that they had 15 go to the draft. They were really great last year, and they're replacing a lot of players. The thing is, Georgia is super deep. They're going to be incredibly deep on the defensive line. They have the Carter kid, who's going to be great, right? Great right in the middle of the defense. They have Ringo. They have Nolan Smith. They have a ton of talent. The thing here is, I'm hoping that Lanning has familiarity enough with the Georgia plan and the Georgia recipe where they can make this game close. Oregon has a pretty good defense. They have a lot of good players. They have a pretty good offensive line too. I do not think at all Oregon's going to win, but I think they can keep it close. I think 17.5, when you get that hook at 17, I feel really good about it. I would take Oregon plus 17.5. My biggest fear is the game's in Atlanta. And I know it's going to feel like that place is caving on them. And look, this could be a game that Georgia wins by 40. And I could be extremely wrong. I hate betting week 1 because of that. But I think Oregon has the line depth. They're good enough on both lines to keep the game close and keep the game interesting. And I'm hoping Dan Lanning has some familiarity with the program and knows how to manage it. And this could also be like Nick Saban kicking the shit out of all of his previous coaches until Jimbo won last year too. So I have no idea, but that would be my lean on that play.
I'm actually with you on this one, Matt, for all the same reasons you said. It's just a big number for week 1. I think you did have a good reminder that nobody knows shit in week 1. We're all just kind of throwing darts here, but it's just a big number, right? Even if Georgia's out to a big lead, there's a chance they take the foot off the gas in the second half and let Oregon cover the back door. So it's a big number for two high-level teams. I'm with you. I'm taking the points.
Oregon is who they're playing, right? So, Matt, I would like for you to chug a beer for going through that whole analysis and not mention Oregon's former coach once. The guy who left.
Sorry.
He's really important. He's a really important coach. He was really good coach.
Mario Cristobal took a downgraded job. He left to a great job in Oregon where he had tons of money and backing to go to the university.
Yeah, chug that beer. Chug that beer, Matto. Chug that beer.
While you're chugging that beer.
I'll get another one.
Georgia's the new Bama. Bama reloads every year. Like, what do you – come on. In Oregon, Cristobal, they're the only reason Oregon's ever been good is gone. You have Oregon, who's always high-ranked.
Phil Knight? Anybody here ever heard of Phil Knight? Phil Knight is the reason Oregon's good.
That's a good point, Andy. That's a
Oregon
good point.
always
Uniforms are pretty cool.
And then they run through their cupcake schedule and end up ranked again at the end of the year. Everything says lay the points to Georgia. I'm not doing it though.
If I were going to bet this game, I would wait until one of them gets up and then bet the other side.
It seems like a great live betting opportunity for sure. No, going back, Mario Cristobal is a great coach on the lines, right? He always makes really tough, hard-nosed teams. Dan Lanning's kind of in the same mold as Cristobal. He won't be the same, right? I'm sure they'll have different wrinkles and shit, but I think the plus 17.5 is worth the roll of the dice.
I hear.
Love it. All right, moving on.
I'll get a beer. I'll be back.
All right. I've got to play on Tulsa at Wyoming. I'm taking Wyoming plus 6. Kind of the principle Al mentioned earlier about teams that have knocked the rust off. I know Wyoming didn't look good, and this might be a heart play, not a head play, but I'm hoping that Wyoming didn't look good because Illinois' defense is so good, right? Wyoming has an amazing offense, and they just look like crap because they played Illinois. I could be wrong, but that's the theory I'm going with. So I'm taking Wyoming plus 6. They're at home to Tulsa. Hopefully they can figure out some of the things that didn't work for them last week and actually put up some points this week.
I'm
I don't think
that Andy.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Matt, what were you gonna say?
I don't think that team's very good at all. Like, I like what you're doing, right? You're being like counterintuitive with the bet, right? Everyone saw Wyoming struggle against Illinois last week, so everyone's going to be betting the other side. I love the mental, like the mindset of it, but I don't think that team was bad, dude. Like, it wasn't – Illinois was good. That team was worse than Illinois was good last week.
Yeah, you might be right. They lost their top 2 quarterbacks, and their quarterback last week did not look good at all. against Illinois. But this line was like at 2 before that game, and now it's up to +6.
Yeah.
So, it's a numbers play for me more than anything.
Oh,
I
no,
agree.
I get it.
Wyoming is not good. I'm not saying that by any means.
It's a really choice spot. You got a home dog, already played a game against a team who hasn't played yet.
Yeah.
In a weaker
the
conference.
lines moved, over-adjusted, overcorrected. All of it screams play Wyoming, but the team is shit. Tulsa's good, Wyoming's trash. Another game that's the exact same way is the North Texas game. They've got SMU coming to them. They're a home dog. They already have a game under their belt. But SMU's good. North Texas, I don't know.
There's a big difference because SMU's pretty good. Like that is, I get what you're saying, right? Because everything feels like a trap.
The teams are bad.
Yeah, everything feels like a trap there for sure.
Funny you mention that because I'm also on North Texas +10.5.
There you go.
I may have a type. and we may have identified it. But
no, there's no faulting the spot that's teed up, but I don't know if I trust those teams enough to make the play. I think it's the right play, but I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out.
That's fair. So Al, I think you've got a double barrel on this next game. UTEP at Oklahoma. If you want to unload those double barrels on us, what do you got?
Yeah. We got Oklahoma. So, Venables finally got out from under Dabo's thumb. He finally gets to run a team himself. You've got the same OC at OU. Granted, I'm sure Lincoln Riley was calling the plays, but his protege, is there calling plays under Venables. So you've got the familiar offense. You've got Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel, is that who it is? Quarterback in Oklahoma from UCF?
Yeah, UCF's good quarterback.
Yeah. So love him. That's a good quarterback. They're going to put up points. They're going to put up a ton of points. I think OU could cover the total by themselves. So give me the spread. Give me the total. Lock it in. Easy. It's only 57.
Yeah, that does seem a little low. I don't have a play on that one.
If UTEP scores at all, that's going to be an easy total.
I'm taking that USC over too. That's 62. Same offense, good quarterbacks, bad teams. They're playing. Hit those overs. Big spreads, hit the over. That's
all right.
The move.
We'll see how that goes for you, Al.
I think it's going to go well.
I think it is. I'm not going to follow you, but.
So the next game, Danny and I are together on one side, and we're going up against Al is going to be on the other side. So Danny, I will let you go ahead and take why you should take the points with Cincy in Cincinnati at Arkansas.
So Cincinnati lost a lot of players, but so did Arkansas. Arkansas lost more of their players. Cincinnati returned, I believe, a couple of guys on defense. And really, it's I think that people are just going to have a SEC bias in this game. And Cincinnati is coming off. They made the playoff last year. They have a really good team, and I think that they're going to ride that into this year. I know they lost. I forget the quarterback's name. He was fantastic, but I think they'll have a guy step in, and I think he'll be good. And I think that Cincinnati's going to be able to cover. I don't think they'll win. It doesn't matter. Yeah, Ritter.
Yeah.
So Danny and I have that at +6.5. Al, I know you're on Arkansas -6. So I'm hoping that Cincinnati wins by 6. So Danny and I can win, but Al only has to push.
Nice of you, Andy.
I know. I'm a nice guy like that.
Yeah,
so Al, why don't you tell us why you like Arkansas laying the points?
Cincy's a flash in the pan, man. I mean, they were everything set up for them for last year, and they had a hell of a run, and I'm glad they made the playoffs. But it's done. Their quarterback, who's the reason they got there, gone. Like 2 or 3 of their top defenders, who were the backbone of that defense, gone. I don't think Cincy has the depth to reload the way SEC schools do. I think this game is in Arkansas, run heavy, bunch of hogs, moving bodies, undersized Cincinnati, not going to hold a gamble against it. So I think it's a no-brainer, and I don't know why you guys want Cincinnati on it.
I'm also on Cincinnati.
Love it.
What?
Climb aboard.
Because Arkansas lost their best
You're a
offensive.
smart man.
Outside of Jefferson, the quarterback, they lost Treylon Burks to the NFL. They lost a ton of production. And they're also only returning 4 defensive starters. Look, Cincinnati lost a shit ton too, right? The number 2 pick in the draft, or wherever Sauce Gardner went, and they lost Desmond Ridder. So there's going to be some changes. And playing at Fayetteville is going to be a pain in the ass. Everyone's going to be screaming and pig suey and shit from the stands. But I do think the value. I would go with the Cincinnati side, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna bet it, but I'm not gonna put it out here. You guys are smarter than I am.
So Cincinnati, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 of the past 15 years has won 11 or more games. So they're not really a flash in the pan.
Danny, how many teams can you name that they beat?
They beat UCF a lot, which is really fun to watch when you're watching with our buddies. It went there.
Come on, man. They've only been in like a somewhat like competent conference for like 2 years, right?
Arkansas did return my favorite
I don't know,
named player in the league, Bumper Pool.
Bumper Pool.
He's
I love
really
playing
good.
Bumper Pool.
He's going to get drafted in like the top 3 rounds next year. Great linebacker, but I'm going to drink to Bumper Pool.
All right.
Not even a joke.
They were in the Cotton Bowl, the Peach Bowl, the Birmingham Bowl, the Military Bowl, the Hawaii Bowl, the Military Bowl, the Belk Bowl, the Liberty Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Orange Bowl, Papa John's Bowl. I mean, they play in good bowls, man. They play in better bowls than Miami does. I'm just saying, Cincinnati's good.
Look, I mean,
right.
I've probably oversold them, a little bit, as far as being a David versus Goliath here, right? That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying Cincinnati doesn't have the caliber program to be able to reload when their best players dip
15
out.
years is a long time. They've been reloaded, man. They've been reloaded.
All right.
Let's do
All
a
right,
coach fight. Coach fight. Do you trust Luke Fickell or Sam Hartman? Oh no, who's the coach at Arkansas? No, I'm saying that name right. It's not Sam Hartman. It is
It's that fabulous looking dude who looks like he runs a butcher shop.
It looks like he's got good gabagool in the window.
You might be thinking of their former coach, Brett Bielema.
Sam Pittman.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Sam Pittman is really talented. He's super aggressive on offense, right? It's going to be really fun. I think Luke Fickell's probably the better coach too.
I think Cincinnati's going to have to put the ball in their quarterback's hands, and that's a guy who hasn't played a game.
That's true. But their last quarterback that they put in his hands was Desmond Ridder. So
he isn't going to be KJ Jefferson. I'll give Al that. That dude is magic. He's delightful to watch.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Let's keep moving here. Matt, it looks like you're laying the points with BYU when they travel to USF.
This is strictly just betting against USF.
Yep.
I don't know anything. I know BYU is a strongly considered independent this year, right? I know they're going to be pretty good. Everyone's really excited for their actual season. I'm just betting against USF. This is not an intelligent pick at all.
Is Strong still their coach?
I was going to ask the same thing,
Scott.
Danny.
It's the guy. He was the offensive coordinator at Clemson.
Okay. So Strong got fired.
Charlie Strong?
Yeah.
Charlie Strong's back in Miami doing something.
All right.
That's good. There you go.
That's right. We have the best assistant staff.
As long as they ain't head coach.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Matt.
As long as he's doing nothing but recruiting.
That's it. That's all I got there. It was just a play. I know you were going through action. I was just betting against. It's 12 points.
We mentioned bad teams that we can fade all season. I feel like USF is up there.
USF's up there with one of them, but it's no Mass. I forgot to place my token Mass bet this week.
Oh, don't worry. I've got you covered in just a minute. So, but before we get to that, I've got 2 bets in a row where you guys can once again call me an idiot. I've got to type. These are 2 teams that I bet against last week in week 0, and they both burned me. but I'm going back to the well again. I'm betting against Nevada. I'm taking Texas State +3. And I'm betting against Florida Atlantic. I'm taking Ohio +4.5. I know Danny said don't bet against Nkosi Perry in the clap, but you know what? Charlotte got screwed in that game. They were outplaying FAU until their quarterback got hurt. They legitimately were. If their quarterback doesn't get hurt, that is a totally different game. So I'm sticking with my fades of Nevada and Willie Taggart. So Texas State +3 and Ohio +4.5.
I don't think Ohio's very good. I don't think
Florida Atlantic's very good. So
they're not. They're not very good.
All right. Next game we've got up here is Rice at USC. Al already mentioned that he's on the over 62, but Matt, I think you've got a play on the spread there.
The over is a really good play there. Sorry, go ahead, Dano.
Oh, I have a play on the spread also. Yeah. Go ahead though, Matt.
I think Rice is the play. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone, we talked about this last week in the predictions pod. Everyone loves what USC did, and they did everything right. They got Lincoln Riley, Jordan Addison, really sexy. All the transfers that came in, I understand that their defense is still not going to be very good. And did we forget they were 4-8 last year? It takes a little bit of time, right? You lose big, you lose small, you win big, right? They're going to probably be in the win small range for a little bit until they figure it out. I do think they're better than Rice. Let's not get it twisted at all. But it seemed like far too many points to be giving up. Look, this could be one of those games that come back week one, bite me in the ass. They could win by 100. But I think the safe play there is +34, +33.5, whatever the number was.
So I definitely think that people are way too high on Lincoln Riley and USC too soon. And I think that's why I think the 33 is too much. But I'm a little worried about it. I mean, I did take the points, so I'm not that worried about it. But the thing that does concern me is USC was able to get some skill position guys and the talent, and that where they were lacking mostly last year was in the trenches on the lines, and in a game like Rice, they'll be bigger and stronger than those guys, so they might be able to just muscle them and not need the technique and stuff that they'll need against the better schools. So if just being bigger and stronger, the line can sort of hold their own. They're much better skill position players will be able to just run away from Rice. So I'm a little bit concerned there, but I also think that their lack of depth and talent on the lines, they'll be pulling their starters out very quickly because they really have zero depth, and they'll want to get their young guys that they've recruited.
It's going to come down to whether or not USC's offense is communicating well and absorbing Lincoln Riley's offense right off the bat, or if they're going to need more time to get that sorted out. Obviously, I took the over because, again, we got a big spread. I would probably lean USC if I were taking it, but there are so many big spreads this week that I wanted to take that I'm like, this is just stupid. So, instead, let me hit these overs.
Yeah.
I
just got the picture of Bumper Pool, by the way, Matto, and that is hilarious.
That's Bumper Pool, baby. Second team All-American, and Phil Steele's
got a goofy-ass smile, Bumper Pool does.
That's Bumper Pool. That's what he
I was looking at rosters earlier today, and I forget who it is, but somebody's got a quarterback named Braylon Braxton, and I'm like, God damn, that's a good name.
Braylon Braxton.
Is a good name.
Yeah.
All right, so I just went ahead and bet Rice while you guys were talking. You convinced me, and you all know I love taking points. So awesome, appreciate it. Let's go Rice.
It could be a disaster, by the way. Yeah, I'm just betting on them pulling everyone out and their defense, their second team defense, being a lot like Florida State last week. Mm-hmm. Their second team offense cannot move the ball. That quarterback,
nice cover by me.
Sucks. If Jordan Travis stays in that game, we win by 70.
Oh yeah.
When they pulled him out, that guy was throwing picks to everybody on the field. So I'm assuming when they go to the second team defense, it's going to be a very similar situation. They may be up by 24 at half and pack it in a little bit.
All right. The next game here, nobody officially had a play, but it's a big game this weekend, so I want to mention it. It's Utah at Florida. I personally am low on the Gators this year. Do you?
It's not in this section. It has to do with Florida winning outright. But Yeah,
Interesting.
I would consider adding Florida to a money line round robin if you're doing one this week. It's tough to win at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Florida always has talent. The only reason I'm not taking them straight up, on the spread is I don't know what Billy Napier's got in Gainesville. I don't know how much buy-in he's got. Doesn't seem like things are off to a great start for him. Not sure how Utah's going to shake out this year. Last year they were good, so I'm assuming they're going to put out a comparable product this year. But that said, it's a tough place to go travel across the country and win in Gainesville. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the Gators fully upset.
Al, it's interesting you say that. If I were to bet it, I would either take -3 on Utah or the money line with Florida. I like the 2.5 points doesn't matter necessarily. Watch when they win by 2, Utah. But I agree with you, right? Like, I think Utah is a far better team than Florida, but it is a hell of a road trip, right? And Florida's not used to playing good teams early because they normally don't. They're playing directional schools in Gainesville. I can't believe they got Utah to come, but I agree with you. I haven't heard great things about Billy Napier's squad outside of Richardson being a promising young quarterback. I know he can be really good. I know the line depth has been a little bit in question, the skill talent, but I think that's the play. If you're going to take it, either -3 or the money line. Andy, I don't know.
I think this sort of rings similar to Cincinnati, Arkansas. Obviously, this one a little more the other way, but you got SEC big body kids, huge programs versus a little bit smaller programs that are still trying to get there, maybe a little undersized.
I wouldn't use that about Utah, Al. I think if anyone's going to be the bigger team, it's going to be Utah. Utah has produced giant linemen. Their front seven have been great, and they probably have one of the best linebackers coming back. Their line has always been good. They've been producing guys. I don't think size is going to be the issue. They may not have depth like
Florida recruits speed on defense too, so.
So, there's going to be issues. I don't think size is going to be the issue. Watch, they may get ran over, right? I could be wrong, but I think Utah is going to be super tough, and they're going to be a tough defensive squad.
Yeah, I'm with you, Matt. I didn't actually bet it, but I would lean Utah -3. I'm just low on Florida this year. I think, give Billy Napier some time. Don't expect him to come in and win his first game with a
tough game
coming in. Yeah, it's a big ask. They've not been very good lately, and ask him to turn around in one game is just a big ask.
So Napier is a redneck. He's a redneck Manny Diaz.
I never make money betting the Gators, so I never make money betting on them. I never make money betting against them. I feel like I always get it wrong. I hate them so much. I'm just so biased against. It's like betting the Jets, man. I can never make money betting on them or against them. If I win when I bet on them, I feel bad still when they win. It's just it's
Danny,
never
which side do you like this week then? So we know the fade.
I don't know. I guess I like Utah, but I'm not betting it. I don't want to watch the game. I just want to. If I'll watch the game if Utah's kicking their ass, and then I'll turn it on and watch Utah keep kicking their ass.
All right, I like it.
I'll text you when they're way up, then, Danny.
Oh no, I'll get an alert.
All right, so our next one up is UMass at Tulane. In week 0, I took UConn plus the points, and it worked out really, really well for me. So I am taking another really, really bad team plus a whole lot of points. I'm taking UMass plus 29. There's a good chance I get burnt, but it's too many points.
I'll do a chuggy bet with you on it, bud.
Absolutely. You're taking Tulane minus points?
Yeah, lay the points against Mass. It's my favorite bet.
All right. Official chuggy bet. Cheers.
So Danny's taking Tulane?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tulane's got a good quarterback. He was a freshman last year. I think they strike me as the type of team that plays down to their level of competition, though. And with it being the first game, if this was like a week 8 matchup or something like that, I definitely think Tulane has, we got to consider that side. But I could definitely see this one being like a stinky 17-point victory.
That's what I'm hoping on.
Or they could win by 45 or 100 because they're playing Mass.
Yeah,
it's possible. It's possible.
UConn jumped out to 2-touchdown lead last week. That's crazy. So now it's UMass's turn to answer. Which team is the worst?
All right. The next one we've got, Danny, I think you mentioned you're going to take Coastal and lay the points at home against Army.
I haven't decided if I'm going to make that bet yet because I really like Army too, but I also really like Coastal. I'm going to watch that game for sure. I will definitely make a live bet on it while I'm watching it, but I just don't know which side I'm gonna take yet. I like both teams. I like both offenses. Army tends to drag games into the mud, so it feels like an under. So maybe that's how I'll play it.
I think Coastal's magic has left. I think they've got a different quarterback this year. I think some of their receivers, playmakers are gone. I'm not positive on that, but I'm pretty sure because I think their backup last year went to my high school, and I think he's starting now. I don't know though, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like the same Coastal Carolina that could hang with anybody last year.
All right. The next one on the docket is another one that nobody has an official play on yet, but it's another big game, so I want to touch on it. Notre Dame at Ohio State. If I had to give a lean, you guys know I'm taking a big number. I'm always taking the points. I'm not laying them. So I would go Notre Dame plus 17.5. I think that spread might get bigger.
I think so too.
I think it's going to get closer to 20, so I wouldn't play it now if you like that side. If you like Ohio State, play it sooner rather than later and get the best number. What do you guys think about that one?
I'm leaning towards the 17.5. I'd probably lay the points there. Notre Dame has had a lot of injuries kind of stacking up inside of camp from what I've heard and read. I also think Ohio State's kind of legit. I think they're going to be the one to pull it off. I don't think Notre Dame's going to be able to keep up with the speed of Ohio State. They're going to be better at basically every position outside of tight end possibly because Michael Mayer is really good.
Sorry.
Go ahead, buddy.
I was just gonna say, isn't this basically how every year when Notre Dame gets in the playoffs goes? They play a team like Ohio State and then get their asses kicked. So, like, they'll just play a team like Ohio State in the regular season and get their asses kicked. So.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch it, but I think it's gonna be a boat race pretty quick.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that the line's gonna move much. I think everybody loves it right where it's at. 17.5. That's an ugly number to take if you want, I don't know, either side. But what I think is going to happen, I think we're going to have a defensive first half. So really? I don't know. I don't think that first half total's out yet. But I could totally see, a couple of strong defenses and a couple offenses that aren't quite clicking. I think what's the total on that one was, I want to say 57 or something. So assume it's something around half that, 28. If you get a hook on that, I think the first half under.
I would take a first half under at 4 touchdowns. I would take that.
I bet you it's probably higher than that. Andy, do you know what the game line is?
The total is 59.
So 29.5 in a worst case scenario. I think you're right.
They plan for more scoring in the second half usually for the first half unders though.
So it's probably 28.5. I bet. I don't think it's out if there's a first half line on that, but if it's about 28, if it's over 28, I'd take the under. How's that?
I think that's interesting. I do think Freeman is going to slow the game and make it messy for Notre Dame. He knows he can't.
You think it's going to be high scoring right off the bat, Matt?
I don't. No, I think if anything, I think it's going to get high scoring in the second half. I think Freeman's going to make it as messy as he can for as long as he can, right? This is his first game as the head of Notre Dame, like ever since Brian Kelly left. And he's a defensive coordinator. He wants messy and ugly, and they're going to run the ball.
Let's not say ugly when we're talking about him, though.
Oh, he's so handsome.
I still think if this game gets ugly, it's going to get ugly one way. We're not going to be seeing this thing 24-21 at half. We're going to see, 21-3 at half, so that's my thought.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tricky game. I know the next game after that is SMU, North Texas. I think Andy
Andy already mentioned he's laying the points with North Texas. They're a home dog, and they already have a game under their belt, so he's on that.
That's it.
I don't like that. I don't like that play. I like his pattern, the home dogs, game under the belt. Yeah. And North Texas is a good team, but so is
on
SMU.
paper it's a good play, but looking at the matchup,
I like SMU. I like SMU. I like that whole conference. I like Houston.
Yeah.
I like to bet on UCF when they have Mackenzie Milton or Dylan Gabriel playing quarterback. I do not like to bet on UCF this season.
People are super high on UCF as an outlier to the games. Everyone feels very confident. I can't remember Mikey, his last name, the quarterback who was the starter last year. He's not going to be. It's going to be John Rice Plumlee from the state of Mississippi. He's a super athlete. He's a great athlete. He's going to be the quarterback this year at UCF. It'd be really interesting to watch. And Gus Malzahn loves athletic quarterbacks. Boy, he loves them.
Yeah, he does. That's true.
Next game up is
Gus Malzahn's at SMU?
No, UCF. Sorry, we're talking about UCF.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
No, I just sprinkled in the conference because I've mentioned UCF more times than I mentioned Miami in this.
The next game up is the scariest team in the land, Alabama. They will be hosting Utah State. Line looks like 41.5, and the over-under is 62.5. I think both of you have a play on this.
That was an easy play. I saw it before the hook turned into 42, and I was like, well, they're going to get the 6 touchdowns, so I'm going to bet it. So that was easy.
Fair. Yeah, it's not actually a play for me, but it's one I was considering is taking the over here. Again, you've got a big spread, Alabama by almost 6. Utah State puts up a couple scores. Alabama can do the rest. Alabama might hit this number on their own. That's really a good thing. If you think the favorite might hit that number on their own.
Game's either going to be 28-0 or 35-7.5. Alabama's backups will beat them by 7. It's a cover. They'll beat them by 7 or 14. It'll be like 14-0 or 21-7 in the second half, and then it's a win.
Yeah, and right there you just quoted Alabama at 58 points, and you only need 5 from Utah State to hit the over. So I'm not officially taking the over, but I like it a lot. There's a lot of overs like that. The Tennessee one,
Alabama rolls these teams, and when I saw it before the number turned to 42, I had to take it.
Yep, fair enough.
I think Bryce Young goes out there and plays a quarter and puts up like 3 or 4 touchdowns. And they usually leave him in a half. Saban usually leaves the guys in a half and lets the next year's guys play the second half.
I hate that Saban's not doing quarterback competitions that don't mean anything anymore. Where he used to be like, "Oh, we got 4 quarterbacks; they're all going to play," and then he's like, doesn't give a shit. It's always like he already had one, just to like motivate the boys. Like, So it seems like everyone's leaning towards Alabama by a big number, which makes sense, right?
We talked a whole bunch of shit about your SMU North Texas play.
I heard, that's actually why I stepped away. I get it. I like the way I bet is betting the worst team and taking a big number. Like that's just my style, So there's a lot of holding your nose.
I have a soccer bet for you. You're gonna love him when we get to that point.
Oh, so do I. I did take the same one as me, Pato. Did you take the
same
one?
Let's finish up the roster. We're almost through.
We got what? 4 games left.
Andy, you want to take over again?
Matt and Danny, you guys are on Washington this week.
Yeah, Washington returned like most of their team, and I think they're gonna be able to roll Kent State. So I took them. I also got it at like 21 even before the hook. It was another one that I got early.
I don't have a side on this one.
Yeah, that hook is ugly.
Just think, like Kent State is a really fun offense. I think this actually would be a more entertaining game. I'm not going to watch Alabama. I probably will watch Kent State, Washington, and Boise State, Oregon State in mosaic mode. Have the 2 games side by side because I think they'll be a lot more fun. I don't really necessarily have a play on it, but I think it'll be an entertaining game, especially with it being Kalen DeBoer's first game. And he's an offensive guy, and Washington never really hires the offense. I guess they had Peterson before this, but he's going to be an offensive genius. So I'm curious to see what he can do with the Washington squad.
Nice. Al, you've got to play on Boise State, Oregon State.
Yeah, I'm taking the Fighting Hank Bachmeyers. They're the Bachmeyers, man. I love him. He's a good quarterback. They're gonna, Boise's always feisty. I actually like a money line. So take a money line, take them +3.
I got the money line plus 125, baby. They're gonna win it. Oregon State's
seems
bad.
like a great money line bet. I love it also. I love it on the money line.
Sounds like we're all in agreement, which actually scares me a little bit. But I'm with you. I like that. I like that too.
That gets us past Saturday, right? So Sunday bets, we got Florida State at the Superdome, Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. Dano, you want to lead us off?
I just don't see why you guys are favored in.
We're not favored.
I thought LSU was getting 3 points.
They're laying.
Okay, they're laying 3 points. Whatever. It seems like it's too close of a spread then. Whatever it was, I didn't like the spread. It was too close.
I agree. I think that game, I mean, if you did the home field advantage, that's saying we are a even team on a neutral site, and that may be true, but I don't believe it. And Brian Kelly has always historically played Florida State very tough, right? Coming from Notre Dame to LSU, he's not going to be surprised by anything we're doing. We run a lot of counter, and his team is going to be ready. LSU has an unbelievably good defensive line. They're going to be a nightmare for an offensive line that's still developing themselves a little bit. They don't have a ton of talent. Look, LSU always has talent, but this is one of the less talented sides outside of that defensive line. But they do have probably the most exciting wide receiver, and his last name is Boutte. And yes, if you're not familiar with Boutte, get your popcorn because he's gonna light that shit up on Sunday. It should be a fun game, but I think LSU wins by 7 or 10.
Yeah, LSU at home, man. LSU at home. That's tough. I mean, FSU looked better than I thought they would last week against Duquesne. But I just or Duquesne or however the hell you're supposed to say it. But I don't know. It just seemed LSU at home just seemed like too small of a spread. Yeah, I see. It's the -3 I got now. I liked it better when I thought I got +3.
It's technically neutral site, but that's banana. That's ridiculous. Like it's a crazy thing.
It's not a neutral site.
It's like calling Oregon at Georgia in Atlanta a neutral site, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Absolutely not. All right, that leaves us one game on Monday. Clemson at Georgia Tech. None of us officially had to play, but again, it's the only game on Monday, so I wanted to mention it. I don't lay large numbers ever. You guys know that, and I would lean Clemson minus the 21 here.
If the number's still at 21, I'm going to lay it too. I think it's gone up. That Georgia Tech team is not good. That Georgia Tech team is really bad. They may win 3 games this year. They're going to be awful.
We got to start the hashtag bring back the spread.
I'm confusing Georgia Tech with Wake Forest, the team that was actually good,
Wake
right?
Forest
Okay.
is really good.
I'm sorry.
Started passing last year. Yeah, they're not going to be good. But
their best running back, you know where Georgia Tech's best running back went? Alabama. He's the starter there. That was their offense last year. They've got nothing else.
Okay.
That is I think it's Jeff Collins is the head coach. He's a dead man walking there. It's going to be
weird seeing Georgia Tech throw passes.
Yeah, I don't like it. I want to see what's the guy's name? Ball throwing running triple option. Yeah, Reggie Ball running triple option and throwing to Calvin Johnson.
Or Demarius Thomas.
Demarius Thomas. Yeah, there's one wide receiver running through the secondary and still like tearing up Miami, who has
175 yards a game, and he's the only one who catches the ball.
Yeah.
Matt, you're right. It has gone up. It's between 21.5 and 22.5, depending on where you get it.
I'd still take it. I'd still lay it probably up to 23.5, 24. I don't look. The game being in Atlanta is interesting, and on a Monday night, right? Those primetime games, the shittier team usually gets up a little bit for. That Clemson team should be their front.
Yeah, my only thought was a slow Clemson start that maybe Georgia Tech can hang around for the first half, but it's cruise control in the second half.
I'm down on Clemson this year, though. I'm down on Clemson.
I hate Clemson.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know
this game. I'm going to fade them this year, but not this game.
Exposed, and I'm going to love it.
Duke and Georgia Tech are really bad in the ACC. The rest of the teams, they can win a couple games. I don't know if either one of them are going to win any games.
All right, let's talk some soccer.
All right, we want to transition to soccer?
Well, do we want to do our ChuggieBets first?
Oh, let's do the Chuggie bet. Yeah,
so there we go.
We didn't do this last week because there were only 11 games, but going forward, after we do give our picks, we're each going to go back and designate one pick as our Chuggie pick. And if we win that pick, then next week we'll have a Chuggie that we get to give out to someone else. If we lose that pick next week, we will do a chug. So, Danny, you want to kick us off? What is your chuggy bet of the week?
Does it have to be football?
That's what I was thinking, but I don't know. Give it whatever you want.
I
There's no
want
rules
Chelsea.
here.
I want Chelsea -1. I want Chelsea -1 as my chuggy bet. I think Southampton is crap.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Homer.
I'm going to take LSU -3. As much as it hurts me to say, it seems like the most obvious pick out there. Look, I'm a Florida State fan, admittedly, but I think the game can be close. I just don't think it'll be. I don't think it'll be a field goal game. I hope it is, though. If I have to chug a beer on here next week, I'm super happy about that.
Whatever the opposite of a homer is.
Later.
All right, Al, what do you got?
I think I'm going to take. I'll go Oklahoma total. So I'll go over 57 in that game. UTEP Oklahoma over 57.
It feels like a good one.
Yeah,
I think
it
I might
does.
follow you on that, actually. I think I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So,
All right, and I'm
what
actually
about you,
going to
Andy?
take. I'm going to take Illinois +3.
Right.
As my chuggy bet, because if they lose,
Wow,
I'm gonna need to chug a
homer
beer
bet. I
anyway.
love it.
I'm gonna need to chug a beer anyway if they lose. So
A lot of homerisms going
We
on
got
here.
any?
You sure you don't want to switch to University of Miami over Bethune-Cookman once the line comes out?
yeah, maybe. Yeah, you want to talk about that too? Sorry, I forgot that because the line's not out.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Just I'm gonna bet the team total. Well, if there's one available, you never know with the lines on these
It
type
should
of
come out
Miami
Thursday
over
or Friday, I
total.
think.
Yeah.
Do we have enough dogs that we like this week to put together a round robin or no?
I think, yeah, I got one. I think if you're going to be curious about it, and we'll see how much the line moves, you probably should consider North Carolina. I would take whoever the dog was in that game. That game's going to be friggin' close. I think it's going to be a dog fight.
It's not much of a dog, right? It was a pick 'em earlier today. I think it's like -1 now, one way or the other.
Oh, that's not a great dog. I mean, you guys were saying Boise. That seems like a great dog choice to me.
Yeah.
West Virginia.
West
Illinois,
Virginia's an
US,
interesting dog.
Boise.
What about
I
Cincy?
think-
I know
I
I
like
won't
Cincy.
like that, but
I like
I
Cincy
lo-
as a dog too. Yeah.
I like UTSA as a dog a lot. For 4 points is right in that sweet spot where I think
For the money
that's-
line ones, I like it to get over 200 though, so you get that like multiplication action so if you get a 4-teamer, if they get to +200, you only need 2 of them to win to get your money back when you do the money line round robin.
the playing Nebraska effect. It was
Yes.
so great last week. That was such a nice money line play. But for anyone who's listening, we will put that whatever we do as our round robin play on TikTok. So if you guys are curious about it, we'll finalize the bet and we'll definitely put it there.
perfect.
Follow, rate, review, subscribe.
Yeah, do all that good stuff. We need it. We got to keep drinking beer. You guys pay for our beer.
What's the thing they tell you to do?
Unfollow, then
unfollow,
refollow.
refollow, unfollow.
Smash the like button.
Mash the like
Ring the
button.
bell, do all that shit because we need it.
Subscribe to my OnlyFans.
Andy, you want me to drive soccer for a second?
I was just gonna say, yep. I think that puts a bow on college football, and I'll throw it to you for the soccer.
Yeah, so there's a lot of interesting matches this week, right? Coming off of Brighton playing their best game, Liverpool absolutely smashing Bournemouth. Man City being down again and then just rolling. Like it's been a curious week. I do think there's some really interesting games here in the slate. Dano, I don't know if there's any game if you want me to go game by game, but I can pass it to you if you
I got 3 plays. I haven't really gone game by game, but I got the Chelsea one that I already talked about. You know my feelings on Chelsea and our just pitiful attack, but if we're going to get some goals, it's going to be against Southampton. They give up more goals than anybody else in the Premier League last year, other than maybe Leeds and the relegated teams. So I think that this is one of our chances to score. I think that there might be a change to the attack. I heard some rumors that Captain America may be jumping into the starting lineup this week. And I've also heard that Broha may get some Broha maybe get some playing time. May get some playing time. So hopefully we'll see a little less Havertz because he hasn't been doing a whole lot, and a little bit more of some of the other guys, and see if they can get it done.
So
Yeah,
this is
Clemson,
gonna
yeah,
be-
it'd be nice
Reese
to
James
see
is coming up the wing back
some,
and getting those beautiful crosses in there. Somebody will put him in.
for the World Cup.
So this is going to be a dreadful week for Chelsea for what it's worth. They played on Saturday. They're playing on Tuesday, and they still don't have a game time for their game on Friday. It's a lot of games in there, which is ridiculous. But I do think that this is an okay opportunity to attack Southampton. They have to play West Ham on Friday, and the game will probably get postponed or moved, which is going to be awful for the people who bought hotel rooms and all that shit. I don't care about that. I'm not the tourism board of London. It's more about you're going to start seeing teams having to rotate players in order to fill out the roster. You can't have people playing back to back to back games. So you're going to see some weird rosters and some really weird games coming up. So it's going to be a harder time to bet. But I do think that Chelsea -1 is good. Last year when they played Chelsea at Southampton against Broha, they won 6-0. So, and they've been kicking the shit out of Southampton for a while. Go ahead.
Give me Wolves. Give me Wolves over Bournemouth.
It's a great game because it is an awful disaster, right? Bournemouth has been one of the worst teams. They're after 4 games, their goal differential is -14, and they've won a game. They've actually won a game, and they're still -14.
Well,
it's fascinating.
They lost by 9 last week.
It's going to be a fade Bournemouth season.
I'm actually going to fade you in a second, but let's go to some other ones. I really like a Crystal Palace Brentford under. Really not exciting. Crystal Palace at home. So when they play at Selhurst Park, they're really tough defensively. Brentford's a good team, but they're not really that good at scoring on the road. It's going to be like a 1-0, 1-1. You can get the -2.5 at under 2.5 at -120. It's probably a play for me. Do you guys have any thoughts on Brighton? Are you guys anyone else like amazed how good they've been?
They've been great. They've been great.
I like Brighton. Who are they playing?
Fulham. That's a fun-ass game. That's a super interesting game. Fulham gave Arsenal all that they had last week, all that they can handle, and they won. Arsenal's great, but
Arsenal's the best team this year so far. It's they've been awesome.
They've been super dominant. Another game I thought was really interesting is Arsenal-Aston Villa. All right, I know Andy's a Tom Fornelli guy. Tom Fornelli's an Aston Villa guy. Let's put that out. Everyone was super excited about Aston Villa last year. Steven Gerrard gets there. They show signs of hope. That team may be the worst team in the Premier League this year. They are
Arsenal is scoring. They're going nuts. They played poorly and they still scrapped out that win last week. So
yeah, Aston Villa is terrible right now, and they could find form, but I don't even know if they're investing. Like Everton's been bad also, but they're actually buying players at the break. They're trying to not get relegated. I don't know if Aston Villa is actually doing that.
Arsenal's trying to say they're back. They may be.
Arsenal, they look back. They look back.
Arsenal's going to challenge for top 3 or top 2. They're going to challenge for top 2.
I also think
if I had one other play, I would probably take Man U over Leicester.
I was just going to say the opposite. I think this is a great opportunity to fade Man U. Man U has been playing really well, right? They won 2 games. They won that game at Liverpool. Everyone's giving them a lot of love. That game at Liverpool, that game against Liverpool at the Theater of Dreams was a disaster from Liverpool because everyone was hurt. They beat Southampton 1-0. Kudos. Way to go, Man U.
I mean, I think Man U's slow start, but I think they may have turned a corner now.
They may have, but I'm kind of intrigued to fade them.
I don't think I would take Leicester in any game.
Oh no, it's a bad bet, but I'm excited. I'm excited to try it out. I agree. Like Vardy is so good offensively for Leicester, but that team.
He should have had 2 last week against Chelsea. He's been so good, and he hasn't been scoring yet this season. And I think he's going to get some next week.
There's one sport, you guys, that we are neglecting.
Wait! I got 2 more picks.
Wait, let's take our bets. Let me give a bet. I like Crystal Palace under. I also like Arsenal to win with a clean sheet against Aston Villa. I think that's going to be an interesting bet. And I also like both. I'm going to take Bournemouth Wolves. Both teams not to score. No. I don't. Both teams to score. No, I don't think one of those teams isn't scoring. They stink, and you can get that bet at plus 100. It's probably worth the even money to give it a go on the dice. So I'm taking Aston Villa. I'm sorry, not Aston Villa. Arsenal, clean sheet win. Bournemouth and Wolves, both teams to score. No, and then the Crystal Palace, Brentford under.
So my picks are much easier to say than yours are.
Yes.
Leeds is playing Everton. Everton's been trash. Leeds has been playing pretty. I mean, they had a rough game last week, but they've had a strong start to the season, and you could get them on the quarter ball minus a quarter. So it's like an even money bet mixed with a half line bet. So I took the minus a quarter for Leeds.
Okay, I like that.
And then Nottingham Forest is playing Manchester City, and City's been really going down early, and they're getting 3 goals. So Forest is getting 3 goals. I feel like if they can get a goal or two early, and then obviously Holland's going to score like 2 goals. But if Forest can get a goal or two early, maybe they can get a penalty. I feel like they can cover the 3.
That's an interesting bet.
It felt like a worst case scenario tie bet to me.
Yeah.
Danny, are you telling me I can take a bad team with a big number?
Yeah, it's not a bad team. Forest has been fun to watch this year, man. They play hard. They're
not a bad team. They're going against the best team in the world.
They're just going to the best. They're going against the best team in the world. They're going against the champions. Yeah.
Andy, you have any leans here? Anything to feel?
No, I got nothing. I pretty much just follow you guys when it comes to my football bets. So.
Al, what you got for us?
Well, these are soccer. Al's got the football bets.
Yeah. So Aussie Rules Football, baby. It's playoff time. So the bye was last week, leading up to the playoffs. So we got 8 teams left. That's 4 matchups. So 2 of those I've got to play. They're both going to be the road teams. So we're going to take the Western Bulldogs, the 8th seed, against the 5 seed Fremantle Dockers. I'm going to take the Bulldogs. It was open plus 14.5, down to plus 12.5. That's up
nice.
2 goals plus a hook.
Closing line value, baby.
Watch the sport, it's so damn fun. I encourage you to set an alarm for like 3 a.m. on Fox Sports. They'll probably have coverage of it, but it's a great sport. The other play is Sydney plus 13.5 is what it's at now, against the defending champs. That's a non-elimination game. That's the one that basically gets you a bye to the Final Four. Sydney's good, man. They're good. You know,
yep.
Melbourne has they're going to kick in a different mode for the playoffs, but man, the Swans are fun to watch.
Melbourne's got some injuries, and I think Sydney could take advantage of it.
Al, do you think there's a chance Western wins that game outright? I think Western has been they're what I consider a historically good team, and they've been really good last year. I don't know if they're being undervalued right now. Maybe they're going to kick it off in the playoffs. I know Fremantle's better from the percentage, but
yeah. So Fremantle had a great first half of the season. Mm-hmm. They did pretty good in like the next quarter, and they've really kind of fallen off the last quarter of the season. So they're super vulnerable. Western, on the other hand, kept waiting for them to like finally make a move to move into the playoffs, and they kept just like, are we going to do it? Are we going to not? They needed a little help to get in. So it really depends on what Western team shows up. If the Bulldogs show up and they want to win it, they can.
They had to deal with that whole thing with the Baz suspension, though. It was like they had a rough year going on.
Well, and as a footy fan, I feel like Western has like the more name brand value, right? Like I know some of the players. I hardly know the Fremantle players, and I know that team is historically good. They're good. They've been good all season.
They're both Melbourne teams. I think they both have a lot of name recognition. In
Fremantle's in Perth, buddy.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. At Sydney, so we're expecting the Sydney game. You're expecting the number. What was the number at? Plus 12.5?
13.5 is what it looks like here.
It got it at 13.5 a while ago, and it had opened a little higher than that. I thought it was going to move further, but
I would like to take Sydney money line. So if you don't have a play, I can see
Sydney money line. I love it. I
like both of those dogs on the money line, actually.
Yeah, I think winner of Melbourne Sydney is in the grand final. I mean, they'll have to win another game still, but they're going to be set up. So it's a big one to win. So That's the Aussie rules.
All right. So we hit 3 different footballs.
You did. You did.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right.
I don't
well,
think we have
any
to
other
do
football.
NFL.
Who's
God,
ball?
adding NFL here is going to be a lot.
we got
No,
another
we
week before we have to think about
We
that.
will.
Maybe we'll do a separate pod for that. But thanks everybody for your picks. Good luck to everybody except where you're going against me, and then go to hell. Everybody, like Al and Matt said, don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, smash the like, all of those fun things, and follow us on TikTok to see what our money line round robin for college football is going to be for the week.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of bets on TikTok this week, so keep your eyes out.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers everybody.
Out.
Have a great
Cheers.
week.